This absurdity was as if a once unattainable delusion had suddenly come true in front of him. Zhou Zhou felt like he was in a dream. Looking at the next Lord Talent effect, which was the specific Lord Talent 3, it was easier to comprehend law skills and will skills by increasing law comprehension and willpower potential. Good God, Zhou Zhou exclaimed after reading it. Originally, the probability of his subjects advancing to God spirits had already reached 95%. Now, with this effect, the difficulty of the subjects under he advancing from legendary tier advanced grade to God spirit decreased by 99%. It was no exaggeration to say that the subjects under him only needed to work hard, and they could advance to become God spirits. They even had the potential to advance to the Supreme Will Realm in the future. Zhou Zhou clicked his tongue. He recalled his past self. When he first heard of the original spirit race, the Chaos Gods race, and the Shepherd's God race, he exclaimed that these three God races were simply abnormal races. If they was considered a pervert, how should he describe the subjects of the Blazing Sun Divine Kingdom? Abnormal race among abnormal races? He felt that being abnormal could no longer be described as being a subject of the Blazing Sun Divine Kingdom. It was more like a super god race. Zhou Zhou looked at this Lord Talent reluctantly for a long time before closing the Lord Talent interface. Then, he left the shrine and came to Mu Gu's residence, waiting for Wu Xin to fly out of the original Scarlet Broodmother. A golden stream of light flew out of the Scarlet Broodmother and landed on the ground. It was the Legion commander of the Blazing Sun Divine Kingdom's Homeland Defense Army, Wu Xin. "Greetings, Your Majesty," Wu Xin said respectfully. Then, he handed the 3 world rings filled with loots to Zhou Zhou respectfully. Zhou Zhou took it and handed the 3,000 Guy Unit Class Change Certificate to Wu Xin. He asked he to look for reserve recruits and change his class to Supreme God Realm Soldier and Supreme Holy Mage God. As for Zhou Zhou, he immediately left Mu Gu's blessed land and flew out of the Divine Kingdom world to the Gate of Summoning. He called over a Grade 1 Supreme God-level cosmic battleship, as usual. Then, he threw all 120 Guy Unit recruitment books into the Gate of Summoning. Then, he spent 100 Grade 1 Supreme God Divine crystals to recruit them and arranged for them to be in this cosmic battleship. He glanced at these recruits. As expected, they were all legendary tier advanced grade Supreme God Realm soldiers and Supreme Holy Mage gods. He nodded inwardly. Then, Zhou Zhou spent another 100 Grade 1 Supreme God Divine crystals to summon today's subject. This time, he summoned a total of more than 490 billion subjects. He summoned more than 40 billion subjects than usual, including 15 Grade 2 Supreme God spirits. Then, he went to Jade Capital Immortal Mountain alone. After spending 1,000 low-tier deity-level elementary grade divine crystals, he summoned 100 heavenly soldiers, heavenly generals, and heavenly venerates of the capital units. At this moment, a total of 1,021 completely different starry sky phenomena appeared in the sky. It was the cosmic phenomenon of a master god tier becoming a supreme god. Then, 22 different colored wool pillars of light bloomed from the reincarnation sacred palace and shot into the starry sky. It was the advancement phenomenon of a quasi-supreme will realm expert advancing to the supreme will realm. At this moment, the powerhouses from various worlds who had been waiting for today's phenomenon could not help but click their tongues when they saw this scene. Yesterday, there were only 15 newly advanced supreme will realm experts. Today, there were 7 more, reaching 22 new supreme will realm experts. This Lord Common People's Regal was really as the legends said. The number of experts he nurtured would only increase and become stronger. It had never decreased in quantity or quality. They was not even too surprised. This was because they saw the Blazing Sun Divine Kingdom on the high continent every day. A large number of advancement phenomena appeared every day. As he watched, he got used to seeing them and did not find it strange anymore. In a restaurant in Blazing Sun Divine Capital, a group of Supreme Will Realm experts who had arrived long ago looked at the advancement phenomenon in the sky, and their eyes could not help but light up. Some Supreme Will Realm experts even specially took out recording equipment to record this scene. His Highness, the Common People's Regal, was indeed right. There are 22 newly advanced Supreme Will Realm experts, not one less. Unbelievable. A Supreme Will Realm expert is simply like an assembly line product to the common people's regal. They can have as many as they want. I even want to send some quasi-supreme will realm subordinates to the blazing sun divine kingdom to be nurtured by the common people's regal. Humph, you guys are just thinking. I've already discussed it with the common people's regal in private. Today, I'll send 3 quasi-supreme will realm subordinates and 50 grade 4 supreme gods to the blazing sun divine kingdom to be nurtured by the common people's regal. I thought I was the only one who did it. I didn't expect you to do it too. Actually, I've already sent my subordinates over. So I'm the only one who didn't send my subordinates over. The Supreme Will Realm experts chatted excitedly. To be able to see 22 Supreme Will Realm experts being born at the same time made them broaden their horizons. At the same time, they only discovered it after a private conversation. It turned out that after most of the Supreme Will Realm experts among them saw that the Supreme Gods and Quasi-Supreme Will Realm experts sent by Regal Great Solar and the others had really become Supreme Will Realm experts in a short day or two. They actually had thoughts of their own. Then, they immediately contacted Zhou Zhou in private and quickly handed some of the top Supreme Gods under them to the Blazing Sun Divine Kingdom to nurture. After saying this, the other Supreme Will Realm experts who did not send the Supreme Gods over to be nurtured immediately became anxious. All of you become stronger, but you don't want to become stronger with me, right? That wouldn't do. They immediately sent a private message to Zhou Zhou, saying that they also wanted to send some top Supreme Gods over to be nurtured. Zhou Zhou naturally did not have time to watch. However, Zhou Manage, who was diligent in politics, saw it. He didn't refuse and agreed readily. In Zhou Manage's opinion, if his main body really became the Supreme Lord of the Supreme Great Cosmos in the future, these Supreme Will Realm experts would definitely be his subordinates. Then his current actions of nurturing the top Supreme Gods under them were equivalent to nurturing his future subordinates in advance. This was not a loss at all. Even if by any chance Zhou Zhou missed the position of Supreme Lord, it was also all right. The Supreme Great Cosmos was his hometown. It was also something that both sides could benefit from nurturing some experts to protect their hometown. In any case, he did not contribute much. The main reason why they could become a Supreme Will Realm expert was because of the current environment of the Blazing Sun Divine Kingdom. In that case, why not? He could also form a good relationship with the main body. As for Zhou Zhou, after they left, he received the new experts on his side. He first gave the remaining 22 newly advanced Supreme Will Realm experts a set of Will Holy artifacts. Then, they distributed a set of Supreme Divine artifacts that were compatible with their own paths to the other newly advanced Supreme Gods before letting them leave. Then, Zhou Zhou began to calculate the strength of his main combat army. His original military strength was 7,570 Gai units, 2,233 capital units, 2,233,372,000,000, 134,781,281 soldiers, 1 capital units, 9712, 181, 123, 811, 927 spirits, 29,869,856,441 true god tiers, 47,366,689 master gods, 7,111 supreme gods, 49 quasi-supreme Will Realm experts, and 4 supreme Will Realm experts, including the 6,000 new Gai unit recruits, 100 capital units heavenly soldiers, 13,712,381 new master god tiers, 711 new supreme gods, and 11 supreme Will Realm experts. His original military strength was 7,570 Gai units, 2,233 capital units, 2,233,372,000,000, 134,781,281 soldiers, 1 capital unit, 9712, 181, 123, 811, 927 spirits, 29,869,856,441 true god tiers, 47,366,689 master gods, 7,111 supreme gods, 49 quasi-supreme Will Realm experts, and 4 supreme Will Realm experts. A satisfied smile appeared on Zhou Zhou's face after reading it. The increase in military strength this time was visible to the naked eye. In terms of ordinary troops, the ordinary soldiers under him had broken through his sister's unit and reached more than 3,000 Guy unit troops. This was already a very terrifying military force. Lords with such military strength were rare, even in the ultimate void cosmos. In other aspects, the god spirits under him had also reached the level of nearly 2 capital units. Needless to say, the number of true god-tier master gods was also very shocking. As for the supreme gods, they were extremely terrifying. There were more than 8,000 supreme gods. There were only 10,000 supreme gods in the entire supreme great cosmos before him. The number of supreme gods under him had already reached about 4/5 of the total supreme gods in the entire supreme great cosmos. In addition, in terms of the number of supreme will realm experts, there were a total of 71 experts at this realm under him. Before him, there were only 55 supreme will realm experts in the entire supreme great cosmos. The number of supreme will realm experts under him had completely exceeded the total number of supreme will realm experts in the supreme great cosmos. There was no need to mention the last 4 will transcendence experts. In the entire supreme great cosmos, there was only one willpower transcendent level expert, the supreme will. The others were all supreme will realm experts. Now, there were 3 more willpower experts under him than in the supreme great cosmos. Of course, even though the supreme will was a powerhouse with a transcendent will on the surface, his true combat strength had already reached the top 5 in the entire ultimate void cosmos. Other ordinary transcendent level experts did not have the qualifications to compare with the supreme will, who had a special transcendent level will. For example, Zhou Zhou now had the combat strength of a superior will, but he had a feeling of being completely unable to resist the supreme will. It was as long as the other party attacked, he had no chance of retaliating and would be directly defeated. Zhou Zhou suddenly had a bold guess. Even though the supreme will's strength on the surface was that of an upper-level willpower expert, his true strength had probably already reached the level of willpower transcendence. Otherwise, it was impossible for him to have such a sense of helplessness that he was absolutely invincible. Perhaps the supreme will has already touched the door to becoming an eternal realm expert. The reason why he didn't advance immediately and stayed in the supreme great cosmos is probably because he is worried about his supreme great cosmos and wants to find an inheritor for that supreme immortal. If he wants to advance, he can probably immediately open the door of immortality and enter the legendary world of the eternal immortal realm. Zhou Zhou muttered to himself. He came back to his senses. He looked at the 4 willpower subordinates on the war report, and a faint smile appeared on his face. Now, once he activated his king, even if he did not use the power of the supreme will realm or below, he would instantly have the combat strength of a high-level willpower expert with the power of these 4 willpower experts. These were 4 willpower powerhouses, and there was not a single low-level willpower powerhouse. Instead, there were 2 middle-level willpower powerhouses and 2 high-level willpower powerhouses after all. Once they replicated all of their power on themselves, it would increase by 5,000 times. When the time comes, he could directly augment the strength of 20,000 willpower powerhouses on the basis of his strength. Just the thought of it was terrifying. Today is the day of the battle between Zhou Fight and the Spring-Autumn Dharma Lord. I can use this second brother of mine to test my methods. Zhou Zhou thought to himself. As if thinking of something, a faint evil smile appeared on his lips. This second brother of his was probably going to be unlucky. Then, he returned to the reincarnation sacred palace and continued cultivating the origin of the heart. He refined the power of the mutant fruit in his body to increase his willpower level. This mutant fruit was indeed worthy of being an extremely powerful mutant fruit that could even advance to the upper supreme will realm at mid-level supreme will realm. Even though he had only absorbed it for a day and refined 1/5 of its willpower, he could also sense that he was not far from the mid-level supreme will realm. If he refined a few more alternate timeline main bodies to become his alternate timeline clones, he might be able to successfully break through to mid-level supreme will realm. In just 2 days, he broke through to mid-level supreme will realm. This was something unimaginable in the entire supreme cosmos. However, Zhou Zhou felt that it was not difficult to imagine. He had long relied on the king's heaven-defying will skill to obtain countless cultivation insights at the supreme will realm and even the will realm. To him, the current cultivation was not so much cultivation. It was more like relying on the endless cultivation experience in his mind to walk the cultivation path again. On his path of cultivation, the only difficulty was to comprehend higher-level willpower skills or advance more law skills from law skills to willpower skills. This was because this was a comprehension of a willpower skill that belonged to oneself. The cultivation experience of other experts could at most be considered a reference and could not be used directly. However, with Zhou Zhou's current comprehension, this was actually not difficult. It would just take some time. Moreover, Zhou Zhou did not want to comprehend other new law skills now. Currently, he had 5 abilities: the king, the myriad method star palm, the all the land in the world belongs to the king, the land of earth, the minister of the king, and the 95 supreme king. It included increasing one's strength, king, attacking, myriad method star palm, domain, all the land in the world belongs to the king, land of earth, a minister of the king, and battlefield technique, 95 supreme king. In addition, the supreme sacred body had given he an extremely strong physical body and the Lord talent to deal with various situations. Zhou Zhou felt that the ability he had grasped was already close to perfection. He did not need to add more details to comprehend an additional ability. The most important thing for he to do now was to focus all his energy and comprehension and constantly increase the upper limit of these 5 abilities and the supreme sacred body. 2 hours later, after refining a portion of the will and origin power in the mutant fruit, Zhou Zhou felt that his absorption today had reached his upper limit. If he wanted to continue absorbing, he had to either wait for tomorrow or refine some of the other timeline main bodies to increase his absorption upper limit. Zhou Zhou did not hesitate and decisively used the all-origin as one technique to attract the alternate timeline main bodies of the other timelines to attack him. A light flashed in front of his eyes. Then, he realized that he had appeared in a familiar arena. On the other side, a man in a white martial arts suit was looking at him in shock. Then, he received a message from the will of the ultimate void, Great Cosmos. After receiving it, he was so frightened that his legs trembled. "Are you going to eat me?" he said with a trembling voice. "Who spoke I was going to eat you?" Zhou Zhou was speechless. "However, a voice in my head told me that you were going to eat me up just now. It even told me to give up resisting as soon as possible because I couldn't reject it at all. I feel that it's very trustworthy. It won't lie to me." The man in the white martial arts suit said obediently. "It's indeed believable." Zhou Fight stroked his chin and said. The white-robed martial artist, Zhou Zhou, was about to kneel when he heard this. "Brother, I'm just an ordinary person. Even though I said that I'm the heir of China's martial arts, I just wanted to create a gimmick and earn some living expenses online. I didn't cheat others of much tuition fees. The tuition fees I earn every month are at most 30,000 to 20,000 yuan. I don't deserve death, right?" The white-robed martial artist, Zhou Zhou, hurriedly explained, afraid that this ferocious person in front of him would kill him and eat him. Zhou Zhou was speechless. The main body of this alternate dimension was actually a liar, and he was a liar who used martial arts as a trick. He shook his head and told the white-robed martial artist, Zhou Zhou, about his freedom transformation technique. When the white-robed martial artist, Zhou Zhou, heard this, he immediately widened his eyes and said, "You can use such methods?" Zhou Zhou nodded. "Then I agree." White-robed Zhou Marshal hesitated for a moment. He had handed himself over to an unfamiliar him to refine. This sounded quite unreliable. However, when he thought of his situation and the other party's unfathomable extraordinary tier methods, he quickly abandoned this hesitation. If he did not agree, he would even lose his life. In front of life, nothing was important. Wasn't it just becoming this fellow's alternate timeline clone? At least this way, his life was saved. Furthermore, from what the other party said, even though he had become the other party's avatar, the other party would not interfere with his life. To a certain extent, he was still free. He had just been labeled as he by this fellow. The white-robed Zhou Marshal gritted his teeth and said, "Come on." Zhou Zhou nodded and was about to use the My Freedom transformation technique when the white-robed martial artist, Zhou Zhou, suddenly raised his hand and said, "Wait." Why? Zhou Zhou retracted his hand and asked patiently. This process of refining a clone won't hurt, right? Don't worry. It's very comfortable. Moreover, you will also obtain many benefits during the refinement process. Zhou Zhou said. The benefit he mentioned was naturally the willpower he had left on the other party. However, the other party was not even a superhuman and was even further away from the will realm. Zhou Zhou could not be bothered to tell him. The other party nodded in a daze. Then, he took a deep breath and said, Then, big brother, come. Zhou Zhou nodded. Then, he formed hand seals and used the My Freedom transformation technique on the other party. A moment later, the white-robed martial artist, Zhou Zhou, felt his body in surprise. It's really comfortable. It feels like the legendary meridian cleansing and marrow changing, he said in surprise. Zhou Zhou rolled his eyes. To treat the tempering of a supreme will realm expert like him as a meridian cleansing, you're really something. You don't know how lucky you are. After becoming my avatar, you still have many benefits that you haven't realized. Experience them slowly in the future. Zhou Zhou said casually. The white-robed martial artist, Zhou Zhou, nodded. Then, he thought of something and probed. Then can I leave now? Come on. Zhou Zhou nodded. The white-robed martial artist, Zhou Zhou, was delighted when he heard that. He immediately turned around and was about to leave. The pressure of being with this guy was too great. Wait, Zhou Zhou suddenly said. What's wrong? The white-robed martial artist, Zhou Zhou, asked, not daring to turn around. The white-robed martial artist, Zhou Zhou, asked, not daring to turn around. For every alternate timeline clone that I refined, I will give them a gift to help them lead a happy life in the future. So are you. What gift? The white-robed martial artist, Zhou Zhou, immediately turned to look at him and asked expectantly, Since you're a martial arts lyre master, then I'll let you become a true martial Dao master. Zhou Zhou thought for a moment and smiled. Then, he gently pointed his right hand at the white-robed martial arts expert, Zhou Zhou. In the next second, a golden ball of light appeared in the mind of the white-robed martial artist, Zhou Zhou. At the same time, a mechanical voice sounded in his mind. Strongest martial arts live broadcast system activated. Welcome, my master. Please conduct a martial arts-themed live broadcast within a week and obtain 1,000 popularity points. You can exchange your popularity points for all kinds of extraordinary tier martial arts. You can extend your life and become an existence like an immortal. Master, please work hard and strive to become a top martial arts expert as soon as possible. System. The white-robed martial artist, Zhou Zhou, was stunned. He did not expect this. He, a master liar, could actually become a true martial Dao master one day. This gift I gave you can at most make you a supreme god. If it's any higher, it will depend on your own luck. Or the next time I see you by accident, I might help you again and let you advance to the supreme will realm. However, the probability of that is not high, so try not to think of meeting me by luck. All right, I've given you the gift. I'm leaving. With that, Zhou Zhou turned around and left. Zhou Zhou, who was in a daze, was left behind. How carefree, he muttered. Then, he thought of what Zhou Zhou had said and muttered to himself. Become a god. Are you serious? That's not right. Why do I feel like God has mentioned more than one thing in his mouth? The supreme will realm. What kind of unorthodox realm is this? I've never seen this realm mentioned in online novels. The white-robed martial artist, Zhou Zhou, was very confused. However, when he looked at the golden ball in his mind, he quickly threw this confusion aside. I have a golden finger. I have a golden finger. Ha ha ha. Zhou Zhou, who was dressed in white, shouted excitedly from the arena. On the other side, Zhou Zhou spent another 2 to 4 hours refining about 100 alternate timeline main bodies to become his alternate timeline clones. When he refined the 112th alternate timeline clone, his body rumbled. He felt his will origin nucleus tremble slightly. The will origin energy in the will origin nucleus suddenly underwent a transformation from head to toe before finally transforming into a higher level of will origin energy. After a long time, Zhou Zhou opened his eyes. A faint smile appeared on his lips. Mid-level supreme will realm. It's done. Zhou Zhou looked at the will origin nucleus in his mind and felt the surging will origin energy in it that was higher than before. A smile appeared on his face. I advanced to the low-level supreme will realm yesterday. I advanced to the mid-level supreme will realm today. This speed is probably unprecedented. Zhou Zhou thought to himself. he was certain. In the entire ultimate void great cosmos, there became no existence like he who advanced from the low-level supreme will realm to the mid-level supreme will realm in a day. Even if some experts had treasures similar to mysterious fruits, it became useless. This was because those with mysterious mutant fruits might not be like him, who had countless top-notch legacies. At the same time, their potential and comprehension could be said to be top-notch. Even the remaining law skills on he had the potential to transcend willpower. All these factors combined could create the miracle that he had today. It was very difficult for other powerhouses to replicate what was on him. Speaking of which, this mysterious fruit was indeed worthy of being a treasure that had once allowed God King Heaven Punishment to directly advance from the mid-level supreme will realm to the top-notch high-level supreme will realm to increase his strength. He could still sense that the willpower and origin power in the mutant fruit had yet to disappear. There was still a small portion of the willpower and origin power left in his body, waiting for him to absorb it. When he completely absorbed the origin power of these wills, even if he couldn't reach the high-level supreme will realm, he should be able to walk half of this path. Even though the remaining path was also extremely far, it was only a matter of time for an expert with high comprehension and potential like Zhou Zhou to complete it. When the time comes, he could easily advance to the high-level supreme will realm. Sometimes, it's actually quite satisfying to rely on external objects to improve yourself. I want to eat the second mysterious fruit now. Unfortunately, a life form can only eat one of these mysterious mutant fruits. Otherwise, no matter what price I have to buy a few more from Big Brother to consume. Zhou Zhou thought about it. Then, he prepared to return to the reincarnation sacred palace and continue cultivating. However, at this moment, a figure emitting a pure white light descended in front of him. He had a gentle expression, like the incarnation of the concept of water. His eyes were filled with pity that accommodated all life forms in the world, making people feel reverence at a glance. It was the Supreme Will. Greetings, Supreme Will. Zhou Zhou was stunned for a moment before he hurriedly said respectfully. Then, he asked curiously, "May I know why the Supreme Will has suddenly descended? Could it be that I've nurtured too many Supreme Willpower Realm experts, and they are prepared to reward me with a transcendent Lord talent?" The Supreme Will rolled his eyes at him and said, "If you want the transcendent Lord talent, you have to nurture 50 Supreme Will Realm experts first." Fine, Zhou Zhou said regretfully. This matter was what he and the Supreme Will had agreed on yesterday. He nurtured 50 Supreme Will Realm experts, and the Supreme Will gave Zhou Zhou a transcendent Lord talent. He had nurtured 22 Supreme Will Realm experts this morning. If he wanted to transcend the Lord talent, he had to nurture 28 more Supreme Will Realm experts in the future. This was naturally not a problem for Zhou Zhou. It did not even need 2 days. In another day, which was tomorrow morning, Zhou Zhou was confident that he could nurture another 28 or even more Supreme Will Realm experts to obtain a transcendent Lord talent from the Supreme Will. As for why he was asking despite knowing the answer, it was naturally Zhou Zhou's casual question to chat with the Supreme Will. This was the art of talking nonsense. The Supreme Will naturally knew the reason for Zhou Zhou's words, so it did not blame Zhou Zhou. It directly revealed its true motive for coming to him. Common people's regal. For the time being, don't let a Supreme God and a Supreme Will Realm expert be born under your command, the Supreme Will said. Zhou Zhou was stunned. Why, Lord Supreme Will? He could not help but ask. He believed that the Supreme Will definitely had a reason for saying this. So he wasn't angry, nor did he have the ability to be angry. Instead, he asked rationally. The Supreme Will said, "Common people's regal, do you know that there's a limit to the number of experts that can be born in a great cosmos?" Zhou Zhou immediately thought of something. Lord Supreme Will, are you saying that the Supreme Great Cosmos has already reached the limit of the number of experts born? The Supreme Will nodded. I've checked the will of the origin of the Supreme Great Cosmos and discovered that recently, a large number of God spirits, true God tiers, master God tiers, supreme gods, and Supreme Will Realm experts have been born in the Blazing Sun Divine Kingdom. These God spirits and Supreme Will Realm experts that were born are almost equivalent to the number of experts that can only be born in the Supreme Great Cosmos in 100 billion years. The origin energy of the Supreme Great Cosmos was almost sucked dry by these new experts. If this continues, I'm afraid our supreme great cosmos will collapse and dissipate in the ultimate void great cosmos before the illusionist clan can break through. Zhou Zhou was stunned for a moment before he smiled bitterly. He never dreamed that the many experts he had nurtured would become the reason for harming the universe he was in. He had considered so many factors, but he had forgotten that the supreme great cosmos where he was located had a limit to its capacity. He had almost squeezed the supreme great cosmos dry. It was really ridiculous. Lord Supreme Will, I was careless. I didn't consider this aspect. Zhou Zhou apologized sincerely. He had almost become the mastermind behind the destruction of the supreme great cosmos after all. Even though he had done it unintentionally, he still had to apologize. Why are you apologizing? The Supreme Will smiled and shook his head. The reason I told you about this is not to criticize you. You nurtured so many experts for the supreme great cosmos and made our supreme great cosmos so powerful. This is definitely meritorious. There's no mistake, so you don't have to apologize. I'm telling you this because I want you to stop what you're doing and discuss with you how to resolve this matter. What suggestions does the Supreme Will have? Zhou Zhou immediately asked. It was absolutely impossible for him to stop developing and not let the powerhouses under him become stronger. That would not only let him down, but also let down the subordinates who had always followed him. However, he did not want to hurt the universe that had nurtured him, and the Supreme Will that had always been good to him for his own selfishness. Therefore, he had to obtain a way to resolve this matter. Otherwise, he could only think of a way to leave the supreme great cosmos and develop his own faction in the ultimate void great cosmos. However, it would become a wandering lord faction. Even though such wandering lord factions were not rare in the ultimate void great cosmos, they were very common. However, because such factions did not have a foundation or a development base, they often developed very slowly and had limited channels to obtain resources. Furthermore, they were easily looked down on by the other experts and powerful factions in the ultimate void great cosmos. It was even to the extent that when they passed by other universes, they would be treated as enemies and attacked indiscriminately. Many powerhouses were unwilling to join such a wandering lord faction because it was too embarrassing and too dangerous. No matter how many benefits you offered, they would feel that there was no future in such a wandering lord faction. This was naturally extremely unacceptable to a lord like Zhou Zhou who liked to recruit talents. Therefore, unless there was no other way, becoming a wandering lord faction could only be a choice he would make when he had no choice. Of course there's a way. There are two ways to solve the problem you're facing now. The Supreme Will said, the first method is to think of a way to let the supreme great cosmos advance. Actually, the supreme great cosmos has already reached the limit of ascension. If it continues to rise, it can only replace the ultimate void great cosmos and become a new ultimate void great cosmos. However, at this time, such a thing can't happen. Therefore, we can't upgrade it to the grade of a tall universe. We can only upgrade its size horizontally. In other words, make the supreme great cosmos bigger. As long as the supreme great cosmos is bigger, the origin energy in its body will be stronger. The supreme great cosmos can accommodate more experts. It's also very simple to make the supreme great cosmos fat. That's to fuse with other universes. Putting aside the difficulty of fusing the universe itself is a very time-consuming thing. Normally speaking, it will take at least 100 million years for the fusion between the two universes to be officially completed. You can't accept this time, right? I can't accept it. Zhou Zhou shook his head helplessly. What a joke. 100 million years. If it was on Earth, it could be traced back to the dinosaur era. He had not even lived past 100 years in the real world. How could he endure 100 million years of waiting? Of course, he could wait. However, he didn't want to wait. Is there any other way? Zhou Zhou asked. Yes. The Supreme Great Cosmos nodded affirmatively and said, then there's only one way left. That's to occupy a great cosmos and become a great universe master like me. This way, when the experts born under your command advance, they will tacitly absorb the origin energy of the universe from the origin energy of the universe you occupy. This way, they won't consume the origin energy of the universe and can let the origin energy of the universe slowly recover. Moreover, there's another benefit to this method. If you encounter such a situation again, you don't have to worry. I'll just occupy another great cosmos. This way, you will never have to worry about raising the upper limit of your subordinates. You can use the method of endlessly occupying the universe to nurture the elites under you. The only difficulty is that you have to face the original masters of the great cosmos. You have to defeat they and become the new master of the great cosmos. I choose the second method. Zhou Zhou answered without hesitation. I knew you would choose this method. The supreme great cosmos smiled faintly. Then, he said, you don't have to worry about encountering too strong an opponent. The ultimate void great cosmos is very vast, and its space is infinite. In such a huge great cosmos, many masters of the great cosmos are only at the low-level transcendence realm. You can totally find such a great cosmos and become the master of them. To these weak universes, having a powerful and benevolent great universe master like you might be a good thing. The Supreme will laughed. He naturally knew how abnormal the Lord talents on Zhou Zhou were. It was no exaggeration to say that. It was a great blessing for the natives of the great cosmos to choose which great cosmos he chose and become the master of which great cosmos. This could be seen from how well the subjects of the blazing sun divine kingdom under him lived. Everyone became a god. Even the #1 transcendent elite in the universe did not dare to think about such a thing. As for Zhou Zhou, he could do it as long as he became his subject. Even the Supreme Will could not do such a ridiculous thing. It could be seen how powerful Zhou Zhou's innate ability was. At this moment, the Supreme Will reached out and gently tapped Zhou Zhou's glabella. Then, Zhou Zhou felt a large amount of general knowledge about the ultimate void multiverse appear in his mind. In this common sense, the most common thing was the introduction to many universes in the ultimate void great cosmos. There was no lack of great cosmos factions that were very weak. The great universe master only had a low-level willpower. If you want to choose the second option, the information I gave you should be useful to you. The Supreme Will laughed. It's useful, it's too useful, Zhou Zhou immediately said. He was very happy. With this information of the great cosmos, he was even confident that he could find and occupy a suitable great cosmos today to let his subordinates use the energy of the great origin to advance. The Supreme Will nodded and gave a few simple instructions before disappearing in front of Zhou Zhou. Zhou Zhou respectfully sent the Supreme Will away. After he left, Zhou Zhou thought for a moment and used the doppelganger technique to create the 20th clone for himself. After he was created, Zhou Zhou said to him, your name is Zhou Yu. Zhou Yu, immediately contact Zhou Wen, Zhou Marshall, and the others who are conquering the myriad worlds in the supreme great cosmos. Get them to immediately send half of their troops and generals to the ultimate void great cosmos to find a suitable great cosmos that is close to the supreme great cosmos and occupy it. They will become the new great universe masters of the local natives. Today, you have to conquer a great cosmos and become a great universe master. You have to possess the origin energy of that great cosmos. I don't want my subordinates' advancement to be hindered or delayed at all, Zhou Zhou said in a low voice. All right, main body. Zhou Yu nodded. He vanished on the spot. After Zhou Zhou saw Zhou Yu leave, he stopped thinking and continued cultivating with the other avatars in the reincarnation sacred palace. He proceeded to refine the power of the mutant fruit in his body to increase his cultivation realm. As for the other clones, they comprehended law skills and strived to advance other law skills to willpower skills as soon as possible. At the same time, in the supreme great cosmos, in front of the thousand feathers boundless universe, after Zhou Marshall finished collecting the chaos divine treasures, he came to Zhou Wen and fought with the blazing sun divine kingdom's main combat army in the myriad worlds. Then he received news. Reporting to your majesty, God Lord Thousand Feathers of the Thousand Feathers boundless universe has already submitted a letter of surrender to us. How should we respond? Should we continue to attack the other party? A supreme god walked over quickly and reported respectfully. Zhou Marshall and Zhou Sheng looked at each other helplessly. Never mind, Zhou Wen said. Since this god Lord Qianyu has already surrendered, there's naturally no need to kill her. We order God Lord Thousand Feathers to head to the capital of the Blazing Sun Divine Kingdom in the High Continent before tomorrow and hand over the authority of the king. We won't revoke his status as the ruler of the Divine Kingdom. Everything will continue as usual. He will still be the ruler of his divine kingdom. As long as he properly manages the thousand feathers boundless universe for our blazing sun divine kingdom in the future, we won't lose his benefits. However, if we discover that he has been negligent and caused the thousand feathers divine kingdom's citizens to wither, the blazing sun divine kingdom will definitely punish him. Yes, your majesty, the supreme god said respectfully and left. Let's go to the next world. Zhou Wen shook his head and looked at Qi Xiantian. Yes, your majesty, Qi Xiantian said respectfully. The current Qi Xiantian had long advanced to the grade 3 supreme god realm with the help of the sword Dao laws. He was not far from the grade 4 supreme god realm. Even though he could not compare to the top supreme gods, supreme will realm experts, and willpower experts under Zhou Zhou, he was still highly valued by Zhou Zhou and his various clones. There was no other reason. It was because the other party was his old subordinate. Zhou Zhou and his avatars had always been willing to take more care of their old subordinates who had once followed them. The old and new generals were all happy to see this. Who didn't want their emperor to be a nostalgic emperor after all? Even the new generals would know that they would be surpassed by the later generations in the future. In the past, the supreme gods were already the top experts of the blazing sun divine kingdom. Even his majesty had to rely on them and treat them as the main experts of the blazing sun divine kingdom. However, now that the supreme god was under Zhou Zhou, he was only one of the ordinary generals. Only supreme will realm experts had begun to be considered rare experts and were rather valued by his majesty. The ones who were valued the most by his majesty were naturally the few new will realm experts. The new generation replaces the old. This was the obvious rule of workplace survival since ancient times. The fact that his majesty was so nostalgic made countless old and new generals feel that their choice to stay in the blazing sun divine kingdom was the right choice. They did not want to be eliminated. At this moment, a figure appeared out of thin air in the spaceship. Zhou Wen, Zhou Marshal, Qi Xiantian, and the others immediately looked over. When they saw Zhou Yu and sensed the familiar aura on him that could not be faked, they secretly heaved a sigh of relief. Qi Xiantian greets the new emperor. Qi Xiantian asked in an unfamiliar manner. Qi Xiantian, right? This emperor has heard of you from the main body. Zhou Yu smiled and nodded. Qi Xiantian bowed respectfully. Zhou Yu smiled and looked at Zhou Wen and Zhou Wu with a serious expression. My main body has just given an order for you to split up half of your troops and go to the ultimate void great cosmos to find a weak great cosmos to conquer and completely occupy it. This matter concerns the future promotion of our generals. It's better to do it early than late. Now, lead half of your troops and follow me. You must conquer at least a complete great cosmos before tomorrow morning and let your main body become a great universe master. Yes, Zhou Wen and Zhou Wu stood up and accepted the order. It just so happens that we don't have much of a war here. Most of the factions we encounter surrender to us. Although a small number of factions dare to resist us, their factions are really weak. They can't even achieve the effect of training soldiers. How about this? Zhou Wen thought for a while and said, don't take half of it away. I'll hand over 4/5 of my troops to you. Lead these troops and bring down a few more great cosmoses for my main body. This matter concerns the promotion of the soldiers under our command. We can't underestimate them. If I give you more troops, you can conquer the next or even more complete great cosmos as soon as possible. It just so happens that I don't have many battles on my side. I can barely encounter a few battles in a day. Under my leadership, the soldiers under my command can't absorb much promotion energy. It's a waste of time. At least with you, you'll encounter more wars and gain a lot. Your improvement will also be very fast. What do you think? Sure, Zhou Yu agreed after some thought. He also wanted to conquer a few more great cosmos to provide the energy of the origin of the universe that could be absorbed for the advancement of his soldiers. Moreover, what Zhou Wen said was indeed a problem. They could not let the soldiers waste their precious growth time. Since there were not many opponents in the Supreme Great Cosmos who could fight, he would go to the Ultimate Void Great Cosmos. His main body had been planning for the Ultimate Void Great Cosmos for so long. It was time for him to march towards the Ultimate Void Great Cosmos. Then, after Zhou Wen counted the army, he transferred 4/5 of the generals and soldiers to Zhou Yu and asked him to bring them away. Zhou Wen and Zhou Wu looked in the direction where Zhou Yu and the army left for a long time. Then, Zhou said enviously. I'm really envious of this guy. He will definitely experience many interesting battles in the future. Then, Zhou stated enviously. I'm really envious of this guy. He will definitely experience many interesting combats in the future. Zhou Marshall complained before saying, I'm wondering if he will encounter many very powerful martial arts experts in the future. You're still talking about me. Zhou glanced at him and was speechless. Zhou Marshall did not refute. Zhou thought for a while and said, as the war situation in the Supreme Great Cosmos stabilizes, I feel that our main battlefield is about to change. In the future, the main battlefield will probably become the ultimate void Great Cosmos. Even though the Dusk battlefield is not bad, it's the battlefield of top-notch experts after all. The people who participate in the battle are mainly existences above the Master God tier. The soldiers below the Master God tier under our command can't stand on the Dusk battlefield at all. Only the ultimate void Great Cosmos is the place for our blazing sun divine kingdom to show off. Why aren't you talking about the Crimson Great Cosmos? Zhou Marshall smiled. There's nothing to say, Zhou said indifferently. 15 has already inquired about the situation of the Crimson Great Cosmos. Before we rose, the strength of the Crimson Great Cosmos was about the same as the Supreme Great Cosmos. At most, there were more Supreme Gods and Supreme Will Realm experts than the Supreme Great Cosmos. But there was a limit to the number. As for our Supreme Great Cosmos, we have much more God spirits below the Supreme God level than the Crimson Great Cosmos. We have indirectly wiped out the other party's advantage in this aspect. The Crimson Great Cosmos can no longer compare to us after we rose. The reason why the Crimson Great Cosmos can still maintain peace with us is because they didn't jump out. Once they dares to jump out and challenge us, as long as the Supreme Will doesn't fall, as long as our blazing sun divine kingdom doesn't disappear, the Crimson Overlord will definitely lose. Zhou Marshall sighed when he heard that, unknowingly. Have we become the key faction that can achieve success or failure between the Supreme Great Cosmos and the Crimson Great Cosmos? I want to take a closer look. Our growth speed is really unbelievable. It should be. It's because the main body's talent is unbelievably strong. 100% drop rate. Zhou shook his head. The more I think about it now, the more I feel that this talent is unbelievable. It can actually reach this point without showing any signs of decline. It's no wonder that the other experts feel that their main bodies can advance to the legendary eternal immortal realm in the future. Zhou Marshall nodded in agreement. Continue conquering the myriad worlds. Don't think about such nonsense, Zhou said. Zhou Marshall nodded. Then, he suddenly thought of a problem. By the way, we're about to conquer half of the Supreme Great Cosmos, right? Zhou nodded and said, that's right. Actually, conquering the myriad worlds is very simple. In the past, at least a third of the worlds in the myriad worlds were controlled by the original spirit race, the Chaos God's race, the Shepherd's God race, and other top bloodline races and high-level bloodline races. After we defeat and control these races, these worlds will naturally belong to us. As for the remaining two-thirds of the worlds, we only need to find the masters of the major factions and defeat they to subdue thousands of worlds in one go. As long as we watch the masters of these large factions conquer, we can take down at least 90% of the various worlds in the Supreme Great Cosmos in a few days. By tonight, we should be able to conquer half of the Supreme Great Cosmos. The rest, give me 3 days. I promise to conquer the entire Supreme Great Cosmos. Then isn't the reincarnation sacred palace? Zhou Marshall asked. That's right, Zhou nodded. Tonight, we can see the true appearance of this special Lord talent of the reincarnation sacred palace at the mythical tier. Zhou Marshall nodded, looking forward to it. The reincarnation sacred palace that Zhou Zhou and the generals had often used was actually only an epic tier Lord talent. As for why Zhou Zhou did not choose to advance it, it was because this Lord talent was very special. It could not use external power to forcefully advance. As for why Zhou Zhou did not choose to advance it, it was because this Lord talent was very special. It could not use external power to forcefully advance. Not long ago, after Zhou Zhou decided to officially conquer the various worlds in the Supreme Great Cosmos and conquer 100 boundless universes, the epic tier Lord talent of the reincarnation sacred palace advanced to the legendary tier Lord talent. Next, if he wanted to upgrade the reincarnation sacred palace to the mythical tier, the only Lord talent, he needed Zhou Zhou to occupy half of the supreme great cosmos. This reincarnation sacred palace is a special Lord talent second only to supreme luck among all the Lord talents that the main body has. I wonder how effective it will be after it advances to the mythical tier, the only Lord talent. Zhou Marshall thought. Then, he took a look at the new innate ability unlocked after the reincarnation sacred palace advanced to the legendary tier Lord talent. Construction function 1, Gate of Time Reincarnation. Collect the power of a certain independent world and throw it into the Gate of Time Reincarnation. You can permanently open the Gate of Time to this world. The Gate of Time recorded the passage of time and space in this world. The Lord of the Reincarnation Sacred Palace could condense a ticket to the passage of time by consuming the mist core/divine crystals and throw a wisp of his or another life form's soul/soul into the Gate of Time through this ticket. He could transform into a life form's avatar and experience the passage of time in this world to undergo a magical journey of his soul. When a life form clone dies in the time world, the life form clone will restoration to become a soul/divine soul and return to its main body. It will not affect its main body state in reality. All the gains of the life form clone in the world of samsara can also be brought back. Construction function 2, Boundless Spacetime. Sealed, you can adjust the ratio of time flow between the spacetime world and the real world by consuming mist core/divine crystals. 100, a day in the real world and 100 years in the time world. Using this ratio of time flow, 100 high-tier deity-level advanced grade divine crystals will be spent every day. 1000, a day in the real world, 1000 years in the time world. Using this ratio of time flow, it will cost 1000 true god-tier advanced grade divine crystals per day. 10,000, one day in the real world, 10,000 years in the time world. Using this ratio of time flow, it will cost 10,000 master god-tier advanced grade divine crystals per day. Zhou Marshall looked at the newly unlocked effects and could not help but click his tongue in wonder. Although this wasn't the first time he had seen it, every time he saw it, he felt that the effects of the spacetime reincarnation door and the boundless spacetime were a little too ridiculous. The effect of this spacetime reincarnation gate is simply comparable to entering a different timeline. You can actually enter and bring back all the income inside. There's also the effect of the time flow ratio of this boundless spacetime. The highest it can reach is 1:10,000 years. A day in the real world, 10,000 years have passed inside. What kind of expert is this? Zhou Marshall clicked his tongue as he thought. Then, he turned off the Lord Talent interface and continued to fight the myriad worlds with Zhou Wen with the remaining 1/5 of his troops. On the other side, Crimson Great Cosmos. In the palace of the divine capital of the succubus divine kingdom, Zhou 15 was dealing with government affairs as usual. Suddenly, he seemed to have received a message. He was first stunned before a smile appeared on his face. Has my main body's strength increased again? That was fast. Zhou 15 smiled and muttered to himself. Then it seems like I can also develop freely on my side. His strength also increased as his main body's strength increased. Furthermore, his strength increased to the same extent as his main body. The current he might not be comparable to the Crimson Overlord, but other than the Crimson Overlord, his might and power should be enough to dominate the entire Crimson Great Cosmos. Next, I'm going to increase the speed of my expansion by 10 times. I want to conquer the entire Crimson Great Cosmos like Zhou Wen. One day, I will conquer the entire Crimson Great Cosmos and become the next generation of the Crimson Overlord. His eyes burned with scarlet flames, and his heart burned with fiery ambition. Men, he shouted, a grade 1 supreme god of the people of foreign races wearing a supreme god artifact walked over and said respectfully, in no time, greetings, your majesty. Zhou 15 looked at this supreme god. This supreme god was none other than one of the supreme gods from the main combat army of the Blazing Sun Army. In the past, he was afraid of being discovered by the Crimson Overlord, so he had never dared to use his main body on a large scale. He only dared to secretly mobilize the experts under his main body on a small scale, afraid that he would give himself away and make the Crimson Overlord feel that something was wrong. He had always relied on the powerhouses of the succubus divine kingdom and the succubus race to help him fight most of the time. He had always relied on the powerhouses of the succubus divine kingdom and the succubus race to help he fight most of the time. However, even this support was enough to increase the combat strength of the army of the succubus divine kingdom and sweep through the racial and lord factions of the entire Crimson Great Cosmos. The strength of his main body had increased greatly again. In terms of combat strength, it was even beginning to approach the level of the Supreme Will and the Crimson Overlord. Since that was the case, he also dared to boldly mobilize more of his main body's troops to help him in his career in the Scarlet Universe. Pass down the order. From today onwards, once any beginner-grade Master God-tier Lord faction that appears in the Scarlet Universe is discovered, immediately conquer them and make them subordinate to our Succubus Divine Kingdom and become a subsidiary territory of our Succubus Divine Kingdom. At the same time, transfer more resources from the main body. I want to build a minimum of 50 beginner-grade Master God-tier kingdoms every day from today onwards. There will be even more beginner-grade Master God-tier kingdoms built every day in the future. Also, prepare more territorial resources that can help a beginner-grade Master God-tier kingdom advance to an intermediate Master God-tier kingdom. Once my main body needs us to nurture an intermediate Master God-tier Lord faction, I want you to immediately satisfy my main body's needs in this aspect within a day. There must be no delay. Don't be afraid of wasting resources. There are many resources on the main body's side. The Chaos Divine Treasures are almost piled up like a mountain. He has always been afraid of this and that, which is why our Blazing Sun Divine Kingdom's Divine Kingdom and territory levels are so low. Since the main body is so powerful now, there's no need for us to hide it. It's time to show these lords of the Crimson Great Cosmos what the infrastructure speed of the Blazing Sun Divine Kingdom is. Do you understand? Understood, Your Majesty. This Grade 1 Supreme God said respectfully. Zhou 15 nodded slightly. Then, he exhorted him a few more times and told him what he needed to pay attention to before letting him leave. Now, I can finally increase my development speed. I was so timid in the past. It's a waste of my talent. Zhou 15 muttered to himself. It's time for the various races, lords, and top powerhouses in the Crimson Great Cosmos to know my reputation. Then, he seemed to have thought of something and smiled faintly. Then, he didn't say anything else and turned to leave. Zhou 11 and Zhou Shire were leading their Supreme Gods and Supreme Will Realm experts to explore the deepest depths of Tianjun's corpse. Along the way, they killed a large number of Chaos Fiends and obtained more than 200,000 units of Chaos Divine Treasures. It had to be said that the closer they were to the core of Tianjun's corpse, the more chaotic demons appeared. Moreover, the stronger these chaotic demons were, the more chaotic divine treasures they dropped and the higher the quality. Otherwise, it was impossible for them to obtain so many Chaos Divine Treasures at the same time. Apart from the Chaos Divine Treasure, they had also used force to subdue 10 Supreme Will Realm experts, 3 low-level willpower experts, and 2 mid-level willpower experts. They finally arrived at the deepest part of Tianjun's corpse after cleaning up most of the Supreme Will Realm experts and willpower experts along the way. It was where General Tianjun's Will Origin Core was. They felt a terrifying will wave as soon as they arrived. Zhou Zhou and the other willpower level experts only had to sense this willpower fluctuation slightly to confirm that it was a battle-type willpower fluctuation. Zhou Zhou and the other transcendent level experts felt it especially clearly. This is a battle between willpower transcendent experts. Good God, aren't you afraid of shattering Tianjun's corpse when you fight fearlessly here? Zhou 11 clicked his tongue. We can't let him shatter it. This place where Tianjun's corpse is an important source of our Chaos Divine Treasure. Before we find a better source of Chaos Divine Treasures, we have to protect this place. Zhou 12 said. Zhou 11 reacted when he heard that. Zhou 12 was right. In order to protect the place where the Chaos Divine Treasure was produced, he did not allow any existence to destroy this place. At the thought of this, Zhou 11 and Zhou 12 immediately led their subordinates and followed the willpower fluctuations deeper. Soon, they saw who the 2 willpower transcendent level experts fighting were. The one on the left was wearing black armor and holding a black spear. He wore a black dragon helmet and looked awe-inspiring and oppressive. The one on the right held a holy sword that transcended the holy artifact. Its sword technique was very exquisite, and its sword Dao realm had at least reached the mid-level transcendent level or even the high-level transcendent level. Bandit Mountain Sword Saint. Why do you have to keep coveting the inheritance left behind by our dying ultimate holy empire here? I advise you to give up and continue to be stubborn. Be careful that the Bandit Mountain Holy Land behind you will be destroyed under the iron hooves of our dying ultimate holy empire's army with you. The Black General said coldly. When this sword Dao expert heard this, he sneered and said, "You and I have been trapped here for countless years. We have long been forgotten by the factions behind you and me. After so many years, you're still foolishly loyal until now." It's uttered that the dying ultimate holy empire's brainwashing methods are strong enough. No matter how many times I see it, I, Bandit Mountain, can't help but admire it. You don't have to persuade me. In such a dark place, snatching the inheritance of the Broken Sky Fist sect from you and cultivating it is already the only obsession in my will now. If I give up on this obsession, how can I continue to exist with my will in the future? Hand over the inheritance of the Heaven-Breaking Fist sect in your hand. You and I will study and improve together. In such an exclusionary place, we can also use this time to pass the time. The ultimate empire of Hung will not discover that you secretly learned this supreme, eternal, immortal realm martial arts inheritance. Even if we discover them, we can still invite them to save us. If we can get out, what if we're detained by your dying ultimate holy empire for billions of years? I'll say it again. The black-armored general said calmly, "My will has long been engraved with the mark of the ultimate holy empire of dying. Without the permission of the country's laws, I'm not allowed to casually steal the ultimate techniques of our holy empire. That will directly kill me." Then, he sneered and said, "And do you think I'm you? Our dying ultimate divine kingdom has countless legacies. Even if it's the eternal immortal realm legacies, our dying empire has nearly 10. If I wanted to cultivate this eternal immortal realm inheritance, why would I need to secretly learn it from you? I could just save up citizen points to exchange for it, right? It seems that the battle between you and me has yet to continue." Bandit Mountain Sword Saint said calmly. "Of course we have to continue," the black-armored general said. "But before that, let's take a look at our friends who barged in." The two transcendent-level experts looked at Zhou Zhou and them together after he finished speaking. "Who are you? Don't you know that this is a forbidden area?" the black-armored general asked. "I'm here for the inheritance of the Heaven-Breaking Fist sect," the Zhou 11 said. He had a calm expression. Even if he could sense that these two transcendence-level experts were top-notch powerhouses whose wills transcended realms, he was not afraid at all. It was the same for everyone. Zhou 11 was all too familiar with the Dahing Ultimate Holy Empire that he mentioned. Dahing Ultimate Holy Empire. This was the first Lord country in the Ultimate Void Great Cosmos. At the same time, it was also the strongest Great Cosmos country in the current Ultimate Void Great Cosmos. It was said that the other party's divine kingdom had already reached the high level of transcending the Holy Empire. He was just one step away from becoming an eternally immortal holy kingdom. He would lead the entire kingdom to the eternal immortal palace and become an eternally immortal kingdom. Currently, its power covered almost half of the Ultimate Void Great Cosmos. Almost all the living beings who had walked through the Ultimate Void Great Cosmos had heard of this holy kingdom. Zhou 11, who had already sent several clones to travel the Ultimate Void Great Cosmos, was no exception. Even though the other party's power was extremely huge and could be said to be the #1 power in the Ultimate Void Great Cosmos. However, Zhou 11 had top forces and strength, so he was not afraid at all. Heaven-Breaking Fist Sect. Ha ha ha. It's the inheritance of the Heaven-Breaking Fist Sect again. Bandit Mountain Sword Saint laughed and looked at the black-armored man. "Ostrich, look at how tempting the inheritance of the Heaven-Breaking Fist Sect on you is. It actually attracted batch after batch of fools. Why don't you take it out? It's better for everyone to be happy together. Don't be a spoilsport." The black-armored general did not say anything, but stared at Zhou 11. He looked calm on the surface, but his heart was in turmoil. That was because he felt a terrifying sense of threat from the other party. It was as if as long as he dared to threaten the other party, he would be in great danger. Where did this guy come from? I've been sealed here for so many years, but such a peerless expert actually appeared in the Ultimate Void Cosmos. The ostrich sighed in its heart. The universe was developing really quickly. It actually gave birth to such a young man. Yes, he could also sense that the other party had actually cultivated for an extremely short period of time. Even though he did not know how short it was enough to prove that the other party's talent was definitely top-notch in the ultimate void great cosmos. Who are you? The ostrich suddenly asked. Before asking for someone's life, it's best to introduce yourself first, Zhou 11 said calmly. The ostrich did not speak, but the bandit mountain sword saint had already raised his eyebrows in surprise. This guy had already seen the ostrich, but he was still so arrogant? Did he not know what was going on, or did he have the strength to be confident? The ostrich's expression darkened. As the heavenly might's sacred general of the ultimate holy empire of Daheng, apart from the shameless bandit mountain sword saint, he had not heard anyone speak to him like this for a long time. However, when he thought of the mysterious threat emanating from the other party, he took a deep breath and said, I'm the heavenly might's sacred general of the ultimate holy kingdom of Daheng. I'm the 9th expert under the sacred emperor of Daheng. Zhou 11 nodded and said without hiding anything, this emperor is the blazing sun divine kingdom's Di Huang. Common people's regal, common people's regal, common people's regal, the ostrich and bandit mountain sword saint suddenly exclaimed. You know me? Zhou 11 raised his eyebrows. A top-notch sacred king personally chosen by the will of the ultimate void great cosmos. You are also the supreme genius with the greatest potential in the current ultimate void great cosmos. Bandit mountain sword saint looked at Zhou 11 in wonder. Who in the ultimate void great cosmos doesn't know you? Even if we are trapped in this desperate situation, the ultimate void great cosmos will still tell us about you. I didn't expect you to come in too. Wait, no, you're a clone. Sword shadows flashed in bandit mountain sword saint's eyes, emitting a light of the sword Tao. He suddenly saw something and said in surprise. Zhou 11 nodded. Bandit mountain sword saint clicked his tongue. It was unknown if he was surprised or disappointed. Common people's regal, are you willing to join our Daheng ultimate holy empire? At this moment, the ostrich suddenly asked. He looked solemn as he stared at Zhou 11, waiting for him to answer. Zhou 11 had a strange expression. This emperor and Di Huang are doing well. Why would they lower themselves to become officials in your holy empire? Our Daheng ultimate holy empire and even the #1 lord country in the great cosmos are the first lord faction to be born in the great cosmos. They have a long history and a rich foundation, even if it's an eternal immortal realm inheritance. Our Daheng ultimate holy empire has nearly 10. If you're willing to join our ultimate divine kingdom, I can apply to the holy emperor to give you a complete eternal immortal realm inheritance. I'm not willing, the ostrich said in a low voice. Zhou 11 simply shook his head. Then I can only ask you to die, the ostrich said coldly. Zhou 11. What is wrong with this guy? When the bandit mountain sword saint saw Zhou 11's confused expression, he immediately understood what him was puzzled about. He laughed out loud and said, Your Highness, don't you understand? Sacred kings are the future leaders of the great cosmos, personally chosen by the will of the ultimate void great cosmos. They will have a chance to become Di Huang of the great cosmos as long as they grow up. And now, the Di Huang, Saint Emperor Daheng of the ultimate holy empire of Daheng, used to be a sacred king. Later, he felt that he could not meet the requirements of the will of the universe origin. So he took the initiative to remove his status as a sacred king and established his own holy empire, becoming the strongest lord of the ultimate void great cosmos. In other words, once you grow up, you're destined to replace Saint Emperor Daheng as the heavenly might's sacred general of the ultimate holy empire of Daheng. He wants to help His Majesty destroy thee in advance. The heavenly might's sacred general didn't deny it. He only looked at him calmly. In his heart, Zhou 11 was already a dead person. You have to be careful. You might be a clone, but this guy has many methods. It's not impossible for him to kill your main body through you. The bandit mountain sword saint reminded. Thank you very much. Zhou 11 glanced at him and had a good impression of him. You're talking too much. The heavenly might's sacred general said coldly to bandit mountain sword saint. I'm happy to see you arrogant fellows from the ultimate holy empire of Daheng suffer. What can you do to me? The bandit mountain sword saint chuckled. The heavenly might's sacred general's expression darkened, but he really could not do anything to this fellow. If he used all his trump cards and fought to the death, he had the confidence to kill this fellow. However, he was not stupid. He was risking his life for a powerhouse who did not have much hatred for him and did not have any conflict of interest. Wasn't that pure stupidity? It was not like he was a young junior who got hot-blooded just because something happened to him. Since you know what's going to happen to you, I would still advise you to submit to my Dahing ultimate holy empire. Otherwise, I can only invite you and your main body to die in my hands. Even though I'll receive a higher reward for recruiting you into my holy court, if I destroy you in a situation where I have no choice, His Majesty will also reward me, just that the amount of reward will be less. The heavenly might sacred general said coldly, "You want to kill me and take my main body with you?" Zhou 11 smiled faintly. "Then I'll see what you're capable of." Coincidentally, I also want to experience the methods of the legendary heavenly might sacred general of the ultimate holy empire. Okay. A cold glint flashed across the heavenly might sacred general's eyes. He held his black spear and transformed into a black dragon that charged at Zhou 11. A purple sword appeared in Zhou 11's hand. This was a superior holy artifact called the Heavenly Dawn Sacred Sword. This Tianxia Sacred Sword was an innate transcendent holy artifact created by the creation of the ultimate void, Great Cosmos. It was not created by an expert. In terms of power, it was even 30% stronger than ordinary upper transcendent holy artifacts. After Zhou Zhou obtained this superior holy artifact, he placed it in his #1 treasure vault for a long time for his various clones to use. Zhou 11's luck was not bad. He could directly use it now that no one was using this sword. Then, he had a body full of transcendent holy artifacts. All of them were superior transcendent holy artifacts. Then, he directly cast King. At this moment, the strength of a total of 45,000 willpower experts was all stacked on him alone. He did not even have the strength of experts below the Supreme Will Realm. Boom. The mid-level Supreme Will Realm strength on him instantly surged to the level of a high-level willpower expert. Furthermore, his aura was still rising nonstop. It was only when he reached a peak that his aura gradually stabilized. He looked up at the heavenly might sacred general and saw the shocked expression on his face. He had an indifferent expression as he raised his hand and stabbed out. It was just a simple strike, but it made this heavenly might sacred general feel a great terror between life and death, making his body stiffen and he could not move. "You can't take it. If you accept it, you'll die. Move." The heavenly might sacred general roared in his heart. Finally, with the potential that erupted between life and death, the heavenly might sacred general forcefully broke through the stiffness of his body and used all his willpower to dodge. A sword light flashed past, and the entire place where Tianjun's corpse was emitting the light of this sword, as if a small sun had been born in this corpse. After the light dissipated, everyone gasped when they looked over. Only half of this heavenly might sacred general's body was left. The other half of his body seemed to have been perfectly cut and disappeared. The heavenly might sacred general looked at the incision on his body. His calm gaze finally revealed a trace of fear. This, impossible, the heavenly might sacred general muttered. Even though he was only ranked 9th among the 10 sacred generals of the ultimate holy empire of Dahing, he could actually fight the 4th and 5th sacred generals for dozens of moves before he was defeated. Only when facing the first 3 sacred generals would the heavenly might sacred general not be able to withstand a single move and be defeated. Moreover, he was also defeated in one move in front of this common people's regal. Didn't that mean that in terms of combat strength, this common people's regal was no longer inferior to the top 3 sacred generals of their Dahing ultimate holy empire?